Good morning, Washington. It is Saturday, the 28th of January. Saturday, 20th of January, 2012. I'm actually starting to get the year right. Okay, it's a random topic show today. Just a whole lot of things going through my mind about local radio, and so I wrote them down here on these thingy-dingy pieces of paper, and so we're just going to go through some random thoughts this morning. Okay. So what do we start out with? Well, let's start out with the always frustrating. This is not what I wanted to start out with. I pulled the wrong one, but let's start out with this anyhow. Farhi and Wemple. Washington Post. This week, one of the big news stories was Mark Plotkin leaving WTOP. Apparently he got fired. Apparently he's got quite a temper, and he mouthed off there to somebody, said some nasty things, and apparently they fired him. So, so anyhow, Erik Wemple with a K. Erik Wemple broke the story. Erik Wemple pens a media blog there at WashingtonPost.com, which he's done since late last year. Remember Erik used to be over at TBD, that F-up of a website that Alberton started a while back, and used to be over at the City Paper. Now, funny thing about Erik Wemple, when he was at the City Paper, he was very, very critical of the Washington Post. You're always trashing the Washington Post. And a lot of his criticism was right on. Now that he's working for the Washington Post, never criticizes his own paper. I guess what do you expect? You don't criticize, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. But they really kind of shut him up. They kind of said, "Hey, Erik, come on in here. We'll give you a little blog to write up, and then just shut the hell up about, don't write. We'll pay you off. Don't write anything bad about us." Hey, want to buy me out? But anyhow, Erik did break the story at noon on Thursday that Plotkin is leaving WTOP, and also wrote up a fairly good, did quite a lot of follow up on it, and quite a good thing. So when the article comes out in Friday's paper, who's it written by? Paul Farhi. Kind of a, I don't know, man. The Washington Post obviously is trying to cut the budget. Why do they got one guy writing stuff up for the web and then another guy writing it up for the print edition? If Wemple's piece was good enough, and it certainly was, it was well researched and lots of comments on there. Why couldn't he have just written it up for the print piece too, or they could have used his blog piece for the Post? I mean, the Post for the print edition, the Post already does that in a lot of cases. You see, Friday's paper, they're writing up stuff from their blogs on Thursday. I don't understand this, It's just another weirdness. Paul Farhi is one weird MFer there. I'll tell you. It was Farhi and Zurwick, two holdovers. The Post could get rid of Paul Farhi. The Sun could get rid of David Zurwick, and they'd probably be better papers. I'm telling you. Save some money, too. But anyhow, really weird that Erik Wemple didn't write up the print piece. I'm the only one that pointed this out. I'm sure Fishbowl DC would have probably written up something, too, but since I scooped them on it, they didn't want to look bad, so what the hell. So there we go. Also, to tell you the truth, DCRTV broke the news about Mark Plotkin's tirade over there at Channel 5 back in early January. And some of the other idiot websites out there, they credited TOP for breaking the news, but actually DCRTV broke the news and TOP came up with it later. So there. Okay, that one we're finished with. Davey Marlon Jones style. I'll keep a little bit of this, throw the rest down. All right, so on a related matter, what does should WTOP do with that 10 o'clock Friday? How about replacing Mark Plotkin with Chris Core? They have Chris Core working over there. He does those core values commentaries, and they're very good. But why don't they get Chris Core to be their political guru, huh? I mean, they could have easily put, Chris Core doing the Friday political show with Mark Plotkin. In fact, I think Chris Core's even filled in for Mark when he's been on vacation. In fact, during this election season, why don't they just take the 10 o'clock hour and make it a politics hour and give Chris Core a whole hour to do, maybe an alliance with POTUS over there at SiriusXM and do a whole hour-long 10 o'clock in the morning show on politics, local politics, and, of course, the presidential races. And I think Chris Core would be an excellent talent to host this. I don't know, No, we hear from WTOP that they're planning to just run news in that hour, you know, and do the same thing that WNEW is doing. And that'll be good, right? I don't know. Okay, then going over to where Chris Core used to work, WMAL. WMAL, an infuriating little radio station. They moved to 105.9 back in September, which was a good move, but they haven't done a damn piece of crap to the station since, and the ratings aren't really that good. In fact, their ratings have probably gone down since the move. You know, first of all, Citadel, now Cumulus in Washington, has lost 105.9 as another station, so they don't have 3 signals in the market. They now have 2 signals in the market, and even with the 2 signals that WMAL has, the ratings have gone down. Why? Because they're sitting on their asses not doing anything. They need to beef up their news content. Okay? Full-fledged news department. They have WNEW now breathing down their necks on the FM band, and they're just sitting there. They need diversity in talk. I'm not saying abandon the right-wing slant of the station. That's okay. But, you know, the core of the Washington metro area is lefty. You know, you look, you know, okay, Prince William County and Loudoun lean to the right, and maybe Frederick County does, but most of the other jurisdictions in this area lean to the left. And that's not to say not to have some righties on the station, even a right-wing slant to the station, but they need more diversity in talk, and that might be a good reason to bring Mark Plotkin over and put him on some of the morning show, maybe not as a co-host, but as at least maybe a daily talent. You know, that might be a good deal. Plotkin is a lefty, and he would mix it up with the douchebags there on the morning show. I like Brian Wilson, I really do, but I think he cheapens himself by doing all that promotional crap on the station. And Mary Catherine Ham certainly is an idiot, and she actually detracts from the show. She actually hurts the show. She says so many stupid things, and she's just an idiot. You know, if they were going to hire a woman for WMAL, you know, they should have hired one who had a brain. And also WMAL desperately needs to do its own afternoon drive show. Okay, Hannity, I know they have a contract with Hannity, and they've sworn their allegiance to him, but they really need to move Hannity to maybe evenings and do something, at least put some kind of an afternoon drive local show on there. If they beef up their news, have a little more diversity in their talk, and do an afternoon drive show, they could get some ratings traction. They're not going to do it, okay, with just the move to 106 to 105.9. And maybe even think about doing something different, maybe splitting up the FM and AM signals and doing something different on 630. But they better do it fast, because they're going to get their heads handed to them pretty soon. I don't know, Cumulus, and like Citadel before, it always seems to me like to be rather inept company. CBS, okay, we've talked about their new WNEW. Maybe they ought to do something with 1580. Perhaps relaying El Zal on it. El Zal's ratings have fallen since they moved to 107.9, which is not as easily receivable in D.C. and Northern Virginia. So maybe they ought to use 1580 for a relay for El Zal. Or maybe do something with, if they're going to keep the WNEW calls on 1580, maybe do that Federal News Radio competition with WTOP's WFED. Or maybe do something wacky, go put Area 955. I've got Area 955 playing here on my HD radio right now. Cool station, dance music. You know, maybe, you know, I don't think it was going to shoot it to the top of the ratings heap from WPGC's HD2, but at least 1580 would give it some exposure. But what they're doing now on 1580 with that talk format that nobody, literally nobody listens to, I don't know. A waste of energy, a waste of time and energy. Speaking about 95.5 area and 95.5 on HD radio, you know, there are actually now some cool music formats now on HD radio in Washington. We've got HFS 97.5 out of Baltimore on 94.7's HD2. We've got Area 95.5 with dance music on 95.5's HD2. And we got Gamut, which is a cool progressive rock. Reminds me of the old HFS on 102.3 or the early days on 99.1 on 103.5's HD2 over there at TOP. How about doing some promotion for these signals, huh? I mean, they're on there. You know, HD radio is flawed in many respects, but TOP has just upgraded their signal here of their HD radio, so it should be getting a little better coverage. But how about doing some on-air promotions or buy some ads on DCR TV to promote them? Nobody's doing any promotion. You know, radio stations sell ads, and they won't promote themselves. It's stupid. And then finally, my last one here. I think maybe the Washington Post ought to become a tabloid. What do you think? The paper's full of just a lot of fluff these days, print-wise. The print pages have big pictures and a lot of filler crap. You know, maybe the better thing to do is to cut the demand for newsprint there, cut it back, maybe turn the paper into a tightly packed tabloid, kind of similar to what the Examiner. The Examiner is a flawed paper because its owner just kind of uses it to, use political brickbats. It has potentially, could be a good paper, but it just, it's so anti-Obama, it's kind of silly. But, if the Post could maybe turn itself into a tight tabloid, maybe that would be the future for print for the Washington Post, because the Washington Post as a print paper is looking lamer and lamer every day, especially some of the internal sections like sports, Metro, and especially style. Okay, anyhow, it's not going to happen, but hey, when it does happen in a couple of years, you heard it here first, right? Thanks for indulging me today, Dave TV, for this wonderful Saturday. Another warmish day out there. The sun is shining. I'm going to get out, put out the lounge chairs, and soak up the sun. Thanks for watching Dave TV on DCR TV. So, there.